Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Namah Shivaya. Today we have our honorable guest, Samaveda Ratnam Shivagaran Nambudiri. He is also Ayurveda doctor from an Ayurveda family. He has a clinic in southern part of Kerala. We have mainly three different styles of Vedic chanting. One is North Indian, another one is from Tamil style, and the most orthodox style of chanting is Kerala style. It's very comparatively complicated, and we have to start learning that from childhood. In that style, the old Samaveda by hearted, only two people are available. One is our Shivagaranji, other one is his own brother. Unfortunately, no new generation is ready for this. The Veda has to pass generation by generation, verbal way. We cannot pass this through medias or through the recording. And he's from a very traditional family, an authentic family for doing yajnas, leading yajnas. His father was very famous, who conducted many yajnas, and after him, he is the successor of his father in leading the yajnas. So we can hear from him about Samaveda. Welcome, doctor. You can unmute. Yeah.
Namo Mahatya. Namaste to all. I think it is better to talk in English.
Yes, there are a few people from abroad, from Germany, from Netherlands. Yes, please.
Thank you. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshal Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitan yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Vedamurtaye Namah. I am very happy to be here. I am very much obliged to my very close friend, Sri Harilalji, a dedicated yoga teacher and a reputed, very well-known yogi, Mr. Harilalji, and his family. My sister Meera and Gayatri, and his friends and disciples in India and abroad. I am very much thankful to them because I got a chance to deliver a speech on Samaveda, which I am practicing for last 45 years, because now I am, to be very frank, 56. I started my learning Samaveda from my early childhood, around 9 or 10 years, at the age of 9 or 10. So even now, not I am teaching, I am studying Veda, learning Vedic knowledge, because it is like a treasure or ocean. So it is not easy to tell about Veda in an hour or two, or a day or week, because it is an ocean. Even though I will try my level best to explain what is Veda, what is Samaveda, and what are the peculiarities and specialities of Veda. All of you know that this is the oldest written scripture of the mankind. Maybe 10,000 or more years back, it came from the nature. Not it is written, because it is, all of you know that it is treasure of knowledge. The word Veda itself indicates that meaning. That word Veda comes from a root word Vid. Vid means, that is a Sanskrit root, Vid. Vid Jnane. Jnana means knowledge. All types of knowledge comes under this umbrella Veda. So Veda is a treasure of knowledge, all kinds of knowledge. You know that in that age, Vedic age, there is no differentiation between science, arts, sociology, psychology, etc., etc. So these all mixed and elaborated in Veda. Now it is divided into different segments. We learn from school that many types of science, physics, chemistry, etc., etc., biology, etc., etc. But in Vedic period, even though that Upavedas and Vedangas are there, all these knowledge came from Veda. And this Veda, for learning purpose, is divided into 4. I think almost all of you know about this: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. So these fundamental scripts of Sanatana Dharma is available in India and surrounding parts of other nations. For Veda, there is no discrimination or difference between caste, creed, gender, etc. Even the elder people also learn Veda and learn about Veda. Many people may ask or may have some doubts like, is it this Veda can be learned by ladies or other segments of people? In my opinion, no doubt, anybody having the desire, jnana ichha, fever, that unconditional desire to learn is eligible for Vedic study. During our thousands of years, generations and generations pass, some unwanted traditions came in our society. For example, only it is limited to some segments of society, etc. But in Vedic period, it was not like that, because who is the Rishi of? Rishi means who is responsible for that mantra. That's all. Not creator, not written by a man. So that Rishi may belong to Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra. It is divided, that Varna or this Brahmana, Kshatriya division is divided according to their work in the society or duty in the society. For learning, it is not a barrier. Many non-Brahmin rishis are there who are the authors of or responsible for some mantras in this Veda. Vishwamitra or many are there, rishis. And nowadays, many people are asking that whether ladies can study or learn Veda. Here also, my answer is yes, they can, because like this Vishwamitra or rishis, these many lady rishikas or lady rishis are there who are the authors of these mantras. And during this yajna or yaga, ladies are chanting Vedic mantras in public place also. That is a part of the custom or ritual. If they are not chanting, then that ritual will not move up or forward. It is a part of that ritual. So, any human being with a desire, pure desire, can learn Veda. It is very clear, no doubt. And this Veda is the fundamental script of our human beings or humanity. it is, I told you earlier that it is divided into 4 according to their application or purpose. For example, Rig Veda, it is on Jnana Kanda. Jnana, you know, almost all of you know that Jnana. So this Rig Veda is related with Jnana. And Yajurveda is related with the Karma Kanda. Karma Kanda means that rituals and other day-to-day activities of a human being. For example, Sandhya Vandan or pray and meditation, etc., etc. Especially this Vedic rituals, Homa, Yajna, Atiratra, Somayaga, etc., etc., are explained in Yajurveda. So it is related with Karma Kanda. Karma means rituals. And the Samaveda belongs to Upasana Kanda. It is for Upasana. For example, simply we just did our meditation with this Samaveda. That was very appropriate because this Samaveda for Upasana Kanda, for meditating purpose. So we did with the chanting of Samaveda. Just half an hour before we meditated with hearing this Samaveda. That is very appropriate. I appreciate Hadlalji for this grand program because I also, during that chanting of Samaveda, I was also meditating. Always during that chanting, myself, that is a meditation mood, a meditative mood. So this Samaveda is related with Upasana Kanda. And Atharva, that is related with the Brahma Kanda and the day-to-day Nitya Karma, Naimitya Karma, and social elements. All social elements are explained in Atharva Veda. That is why it is very much close to Ayurveda, Jyotisha, and other science or arts. This Veda is simply collection of mantras. You know that mantra is Mananartrayade, etc., etc. Many definitions are there. I am not going to that area. So this Veda is collection of mantra. Each mantra is having Rishi, Chandas, and Devata. I told you that mantra, Rishi will be there. For each mantra, Rishi will be there. For example, it is a very famous mantra, Gayatri. It is the essence of Veda, Gayatri. This is Savitri Gayatri. There are so many Gayatri mantras. This is related with Savita or Aditya or Surya. This mantra belongs to Vishwamitra Rishi. So Vishwamitra Rishi. Next comes Chandas. Simply, I can say that Chandas means meter, or in that language, we told that Vritta. So meter. For each Chandas, some rules are regulations are there. How to make a chandas, how it will be that each chandas. So this Gayatri, for example, this the same Gayatri, the chandas is called Gayatri. Chaturvimshatyakshara Gayatri. There are different types of Gayatri chandas are there. 24 Akshara. Sa, vi, tu, varenyam, etc. Varenyam, there Vareniyam is the actual form, but we are chanting Savidur Varenyam. So 8 into 3, 3 padas are there, 3 lines are there. 8 into 3, 24. Chadurvimshiti Akshara Gayatri. So this chandas is Gayatri for this Savidur Varenyam. Devata. Devata means whom that mantra indicates, or who is Devata mentioned in that specific mantra. That is called Devata. Here Savita. Savita means Surya or sun. So for each mantra, Rishi, Chandas and Devata are must. Without that, it is not mantra. And in addition to this, each mantra should have some swaras. Swara means how to chant, how to pronounce. You heard my Samavedic chanting earlier. So it is a for example, it is a peculiar or specific rhythm. I chanted. So it is compulsory or it is necessary to chant with that meter or frequency. It is called swara. Famous 3 swaras are there: Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita. And Prachaya, Kamba, etc. are there, but mainly 3 swaras. It is explained in that Vedangas and Vyakarana, etc. etc. It is explained. For example, Uchairudatta, Panini himself explained about Udatta. Uchairudatta. Uchai means upper. For example, I will tell you, Samavedas start with Agna Ayahi Vitaye. So, Uchairudatta, up, upward, upside. Okay. And Nichair Anudatta. Second one is Anudatta. Anudatta is bottom or below, up and down. So, Udatta and Anudatta. Swarita, Samahara Swarita, one side. For example, I will explain with one mantra, starting with the Samaveda. This mantra is famous for Agni. Agna Ayahi Vitaye. Rigveda starts with Agni Mele Purohitam. Here, I will chant that one line, one pada or one line. You can see that Udatta, Anudatta, and Swarita, etc. Actually, these 3 swaras for Rigveda and Yajurveda, for Samaveda, different other swaras are also coming. 7 swaras, Sapta swaras are there. That is why the mother of that Sangeeta or music is Samaveda. Samavedat idam geetam Sanjagraha Pitamaha. So the root of music is Samaveda. Agna Ayahi Vitaye. I am using my hand for this helping this swara. For example, means here the udata. Gna is anudata. Gna yahivi taye. Here ta is swarita. So swarita is in between udata and anudata. It comes one side. Very simply, I am telling. Not technically. Technically, it is very difficult to explain, but this is the method how simply chanting Veda. Sama Veda, and I chanted earlier a few minutes this type of mantra, and afterwards I chanted Samagana. Like that, it comes Agne. It goes like this. No? So it is very difficult to recite, very difficult to learn, very difficult to study, and very difficult, very difficult to teach. That is why my dear friend Harilalji told that it is not easy to learn through media, social media, or that video or audio. It is not possible to teach or to learn this Vedic chanting, because before fixing this vocal cord and that muscles of vocal cord, we have to get the technique of chanting Veda, that is in childhood. Only in childhood we can learn this Veda. You know that Carnatic music, traditional music traditions learn only in starting only in childhood. Otherwise, it is very difficult. We can learn the technique of Vedic chanting or music chanting or music reciting in later stage, but the technique, that swara going to one side, like that, you know, comes that frequency comes like that. So the study of Veda should be started in childhood. That's why this is the oldest method of tradition. That's why UNESCO in 2003 considered this as the oldest intangible heritage. You can see from the website, it is that Veda is the oldest method of or chanting, intangible heritage, the oldest one. We can learn Veda orally. That means from Guru to Shishya. That is the only method to study Veda. Okay, that's okay. Just I am going through other points because time is limited, and the point is, and the Veda is very vast. So this Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, that is divided into four for learning purpose and for application purpose. And this Veda Samhita, Samhita means text, is divided into four. Samhita Veda, that it is like a tree. So Veda Vriksha, it is four parts are there: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. Samhita for this Brahmacharya, or before marriage. Brahmana, that is ritual purpose, doing yajnas and puja, etc. during that with family. So that is second part is Brahmana. Third one is Vanaprastha period. That is Aranyaka. Aranyaka is hundreds of books are there in each divisions. And the fourth one is, you heard about that Upanishad. So most important philosophical thoughts are seen in Upanishads. It is a part of this Vedic text. So Samhita, that is mantras, collection of mantras, that is called Samhita. For example, you will wonder that thousands of mantras are there in each Veda. For example, more than 10,000 mantras are there in Rig Veda only. So we have to learn by heart in the childhood itself. That's why we stress or emphasize that it should be learned in childhood. Otherwise, it is not possible to make by heart. It takes continuous chanting of 50 hours for Veda. Due to this musicological chanting method, this Samaveda, even though the number is very less than 2000 mantras, this Samaveda is more elaborated, or it takes around 70-75 hours without break. If I am chanting without break, it will take 70-75 hours. But it is not possible. Even for 1 hour, the chanting is very stressful and very that physically and mentally, or it is very difficult to chant continuous few hours. So this Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka, and Upanishad. You know that Upanishad, there are many Upanishads. Dashopanishad, 10 Upanishads are very famous. The commentary for these 10 Upanishads are given by Adi Shankara Bhagavad Pada, Ishavasya, Kathakayana, etc., etc. Chandogya, you know that. If we go through this Upanishad, most advanced philosophical thoughts can be seen in each Upanishad. It is called Sukta. Very wonderful ideas and thoughts are seen in Upanishads. If we go through some Upanishads, we can see the advanced psychological thoughts in Chandogya or Kathopanishad, etc. We can see Kenopanishad, Ishavasya, whatever. For learning a single Upanishad, we want a lifetime. That's why I told that it is an ocean. So hundreds of Upanishads are there, Aranyaka Granthas are there, Brahmana Granthas are there. In addition to Upaveda and Vedangas. For example, some of you be knowing that 6 Vedangas are there: Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, and Upanishad. Chandas and Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, and Jyotisha. Shiksha, Kalpa, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chandas, and Jyotisha. Shiksha means that laws and rules of Swara, how to chant Veda, how to pronounce these Veda mantras, etc., explained in Shiksha. The books are called Pradishakya, each Shakha. And very important one thing, I forgot to tell you that for each Veda, many branches are there. For Rigveda, for Yajurveda, for Samaveda, all Vedas are having branches, different types of chanting. And little difference will be there for each shakha. For example, it is explained that thousands of Samaveda shakhas or branches are there. Sahasravartama Samaveda. So that chanting methods will be different from each group. That is why the shakha is different from one to other. Okay. Harilalji told that North Indian tradition, Tamil tradition, and Kerala tradition. That Tamil tradition is different from Kerala. Kerala is different from North Indian style. Very interesting thing that everybody agrees that Kerala tradition is very unique. Tamil tradition and North Indian tradition will be very similar to each other. But Kerala tradition is very peculiar and unique. So this Shiksha is related with the Swara and Kalpa. Kalpa means that related with the rituals. Okay. Vyakarana means grammar. So that is grammatical rules explained in Vyakarana. And Nirukta. Nirukta means each word. I told you that Veda comes from Vid. So each word comes from a root word. That is explained in this Nirukta. And Chandas is other Vedanga, fifth Vedanga. It is related with that meter or Vritta. And Jyosha related with astrology. And different astrology is different from actually that both are explained in Veda. That is why the Jyotisha is that combination of astrology and astronomy. Many interpretations are there from Veda that these 6 Vedangas, Anga means part. So these Vedangas are supporting Veda to maintain its normalcy or keeping balance or equilibrium. How to chant, how it comes, how to be pronounced, etc., etc. So some rules are there. One of that Vedangas is grammar, Vyakarana, like that. So these rishis are the authors of these thousands of books in each Vedanga. You can see that hundreds of Ayurvedic books. Ayurveda is Upaveda. I told you that Upaveda of Rigveda or Atharvaveda, and music is Upaveda of Samaveda. And it is called Gandharva Veda. Gandharva Veda means music, Sangeetam. So this is the reason why it is considered as the oldest intangible heritage by UNESCO. And many suktas are there. Sukta means collection of mantras, a small group of mantras with the same Rishi or Devata, which is called Sukta. For example, Purusha Sukta, Aikamatya Sukta, Bhagya Sukta, etc. etc. So the content of that Sukta will be single one. So many scientific aspects are explained in each Veda. It is not easy to explain in 1 hour or 2 hours. And I will just chant how to chant this Rigveda and Yajurveda that is different from Samaveda. For example, one small mantra I will chant. I chanted that Samaveda earlier. Agna Vitaye. This is the basic chanting of Samaveda. And I chanted that mantra earlier before during that meditation. Adhipadaye Mitrapadaye Kshatrapadaye Suvapadaye. This is the method of Samaveda chanting, Kerala tradition. And Kerala tradition, Rigveda, little different. Bhadram karnebhi shrunuyama deva bhadram pashyema kshabhityajatra. This is the method of chanting Rigveda. Here, the almost all 10,000 mantras will be, the swara will be like this. But each mantra will be different from other mantra with this swara. And this Hasta Mudra or hand gesture is very useful for chanting mantra. Without telling a mantra, I can communicate with this hand movement with my colleague. That means no need of telling the mantra, just I moving this hand gesture, hand movement, that other Vedic scholar understand which mantra he is planning to chant. That is Hastamudra, that is a very major science. So the communication purpose, this Hastamudra is very effective. The modern scientists wonder how, without telling a mantra, I can communicate with other Vedic scholar. You understand? No? For example, if some other people asking me 10th chapter, 25th mantra, you just chant. So I will show the hand movement. The same other guy can chant. So it is very advanced method of communication that is used in Vedic chanting. And these all Vedas are very useful for universal harmony or universal peace. That is why it is applied. All Vedas are applied in rituals or Somayaga or Adiratra or other Vedic rituals. Many yajnas and yagas are there, Vajapeya, etc. are there. So, if we go through that Vedic ocean, we will wonder how it was evolved from the from the nature. It's very much connected with this nature. In other talk, time is there. For the time being, for winding up this talk is so. I did not tell anything. 0.0001% of this total knowledge I did not transfer. I'm very difficult to explain this difficult matter of this Veda, and my limitation in language and knowledge also, I am very limited. So I am very thankful to Shri Harilalji for getting this chance. If you have some interest in Vedic knowledge, now the methods are there to learn about Veda and Vedic knowledge and research doing in Vedic science. You can do at any time with the help of this modern techniques. So I am very thankful to Arsha Yoga and backbone of Arsha Yoga, Mr. Harilal, for getting this chance. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor. He mentioned that Veda is declared as non-tangible by the UNESCO, isn't it?
Dead.
Yeah. And maybe you noticed that when he was reciting the Veda, Samaveda, part of our meditation, some of the Swara was missed. First I thought it is some internet problem, but later only I realized because some Swaras was not able to catch by the instrument. Maybe some instrument can catch these Swaras which we missed today, some equipments can catch, but I'm sure there are so many subtle resonances which we'll miss when we hear through the medias. What is in the Veda is non-tangible, which is metaphysics. But the swaras we are using for chanting Veda or its effect, that also not tangible. So when you learn that from a guru directly, that's totally very different from what we can learn from medias or something, because some subtle vibration, subtle frequency will miss if it is not directly from the guru. That's why we have to keep this tradition. Somehow we have to keep this tradition. Someone should come forward to learn. Someone should ready to send their children to learn this and commit their life for this. Once again, thank you very much. Hope people enjoy his talk, got something from his talk. If anyone has any questions, you can write to us. If you do not know his contact detail, I will pass to him and he will answer to you directly. Thank you once again. Thank you very much. We can conclude with the Mrityunjaya mantra. Om Trayambagam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam Purvarugamiva bandhanat mrityor mutshiyamamrudad Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarugamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamridad. Om Trayambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarugamiva Bandhanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamridad. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Aradi. Om Nadatra Suryo Bhadina Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyodabandi Kudoyamaknihi Tameva Bandhu Manubadi Sarvam Tasya Vasa Sarvavidam Vibhadi. Om Gange Jayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri Namastubhyam Namo Namaha. Tvameva Mada Chabida Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Kayena Vacha Manasendriyarva Buddhyatmana Bha Prakriti Svabhava Karomi Yat Sagalam Parasmai Narayanaye Iti Samarpayami. Sarvadhammam Parityajya Mayegam Sharanam Vraja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayishyami Ma Suja.